Hey, this is Peggy with Easy Peasy Machine Embroidery, and today I am in MySewNet Platinum, and I'm going to show you how to change your applique stitches from satin to motifs and whatnot. Okay, so let's begin. So I am in the Platinum version, and I'm going to go to the Create tab, to Digitizing. Do not touch that finish. And I'm going to hit cancel here, and I'm going to go and insert my applique. And I have one that I've been playing with, and I'm going to change my hoop. All right, so the big thing is to understand all these slides over on the film strip. Number one, I have to ungroup things. So I'm going to right click over where it says group and say ungroup. And there's a whole lot of running stitches there. And those are basically placement stitches. And pattern fill, so that would be the little pause down here. And we have placement stitches again. And what I'm looking for is the satin column. And right there is one of the satin columns. When I click on it, it highlights. I can right click, go into properties. Right now, it's filled with satin column, but I'm going to click over here and convert it to a satin area. Now I am going to say no fill there, and I'm going to say I want to change it to could be a double stitch, could be a motif line. And if I wanted to do, let's see, I am going to go into the Husqvarna Viking group, into the applique stitches, and I will often use number 4. And let's see what it does. So I'm going to apply. So basically what it's going to do is it put that applique stitch there. And because this is a filled design, you're going to see 2 rows of that motif. Let's see, properties, applique, no fill, motif line. See, the original stitch was done as a fill. So that's why we're getting that. And we can say mirror image here and have the raw edge applique go to the inside of the applique, or we can have it go to the outside. That's the reverse and mirror. We can also make the height of those applique stitches longer. Okay, so that's how that is done. If you're making your own appliques, and I'm going to do a Control A and get rid of all of that. If you're making your own appliques, I'm going to very quickly turn off my pattern fill, and I'm going to turn on the applique, and I'm just going to do a circle. Remember, if you hold down the Control key, it enlarges proportionately. Whenever I'm making appliques, I like to right click once and then twice and go into the center tab, and I will say none and say OK. it took away the fabric. It didn't necessarily take away that it knows that it's an applique. It still knows it's an applique. The applique is still highlighted here. Okay, so I can right click. I can make my satin line wider or narrower. I can increase the density. And I can also change the stitch. So instead of a, let's see, instead of a satin stitch, we can do a, let's go down here and do this stitch instead. And I'm going to change the color by double clicking, left double click. I'm going to put the color black so you can see what's going on here. And the reason why I do take the applique fabric out of there is so that I can see what I'm doing. And I want to box this in. So I'm going to go Home, Box Select. I'm going to move this up here. I'm going to make this smaller. I'm going to do a right click. I need to get my box back again. I'm going to do a right click over here and do a copy. And a copy puts the copy right on top of the item you're copying. Whereas a duplicate, and let me show you what a duplicate does. So if I say duplicate, you see how it took it down to just off of the original copy, so you can see what you're doing there. Sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes you don't want it to be just off to the side. I'm going to delete that one. So say I had these two eyeballs that I did first, and I had my applique on here. Now I can't see my two eyeballs and where they're supposed to be. So I'm going to drag the eyeball down underneath. It's just easier when I don't have the fabric in place. So I'm going to do one more thing here. I'm going to do my go down, right click and go down to Properties. I'm going to go into the applique. We can do a standard applique and select Fabric. So Quick gives you just colors. Fabric will allow you to load a previously saved fabric or add a new background fabric. So if you had a specific fabric you wanted to use, you could take a picture of it with your camera and you could add it that way. Saved fabrics are right there. And you can mess with any of those. Once you've used a fabric, it's going to show up down here. So you can see that I've already used the green. And if I want to change the eyes into something else, I can go to right click and go to Properties. I can say Applique. I want a standard applique. I'm going to select Fabric. I'm going to use black applique fabric and say OK. apply, OK. So that's using black applique fabric. I can right-click, go into properties, I can change satin line to motif. I'm going to move my box, my selection box out, and I'm going to go to Husqvarna Viking, and I'm going to go to applique stitches, and I'm going to go to number 4, and I'm going to do, I think it'll go to 7. And now you can see that the applique stitch, let me zoom in and show you, goes outward right now, and I can change that so it goes inward by taking the mirror off. And now the stitch goes inward. Let's change that to a different color so you can see it. Okay, so that's basically how you change stitches back and forth. I can right-click again and say, I would really like just a double stitch. I can change the stitch length. If the double stitch is not flowing, if I got corners and stuff, I can change it into a smaller stitch so it'll go around the corner, or I can change it to a satin stitch. Alright, so that's how you change stitches on an applique. Hope you enjoyed just this, and catch you later. Bye.